Hey everyone, this is a quick CVS2 groove primer. I'm going to go through all the grooves one by one. Before I do that, I'm going to go through how meter building works in this game. It functions mostly like other games, but so first off, whenever you're on defense and you block an attack or get hit, you get two units of meter, and that includes supers. So if you block or get hit by a super, you get 2 units of meter. Whenever you attack and it's blocked, you get 2 units of meter. Whenever your attack lands, it builds more. So light attacks build 4 units of meter, medium attacks build 8 units of meter, hard attacks build 12 units of meter, and specials build 8 units of meter. The other thing is when you whiff an attack, so you can whiff mediums, heavies, or specials. Mediums will build 1 unit of meter, heavies will build 2 units of meter, and specials will build 4. So that amount is added on to when the attack connects. So if the attack connects and it's blocked, you'll get the whiff amount plus the block amount. Pretty straightforward. Last thing I'll say about meter is in CAP and end grooves, the meter is passed on between characters. So if I have Ryu here and he dies and my next character comes in, my next character is going to have that 1.5 meters left. So it's important for team construction. You kind of want your character that builds meter fastest up front and your characters that use meter better in the second and third slots. So that's how meter building works. Next, I'm going to go into C groove. C groove is one of the strongest grooves in the game for sure because it's really efficient. So the reason it's efficient and flexible actually as well. So the reason it's one of the flexibility things that it has here is, as you can see, it's got 3 meters or 3. It says level 3 at the bottom, and it's got the little staircase as it goes up. If you want to do a level 1, level 2, or level 3 when you have 3 meters, you just do the version of the attack that you want. So if you want a level 1, you're going to press your weak attacks. If you want a level 2, you're going to press your medium attacks. And if you want a level 3, you press your hard attacks. And it gives you that flexibility to, if you want to just kill somebody or say you don't need to use all the meter for whatever reason. The other thing that C groove has that other grooves don't have is it has this level 2 ability. So it's the only groove with level 2 supers, and every time you do a level 2 super, you can actually cancel it into a special move. It's the only groove that can do that. You can also cancel it into other supers, which is oftentimes more damage than doing the level 3 itself. Level 3, as you can see, is about 500 less damage. But more importantly, the level 2 into special is almost as much as the level 3. So you don't have to spend that much meter to get that much damage. You spend 2 meters, a level 2 worth of meter to get basically a level 3 worth of damage, plus you gain meter back when you hit the special at the end of the cancel. And so that makes it really, really efficient. You can just build meter after you land a combo. So instead of spending 3 meters for your 5,000 damage combo, you're spending 1 in 90% or 1 in 95% of a next level up to get that extra damage. So it's really efficient, really flexible. Great groove for a lot of characters. The other thing it does is it has air guard. Air guard's pretty simple. Basically, you can only block air-to-air attacks. You take an added 50% guard damage whenever you block an air-to-air attack. You cannot block ground-to-air anti-airs, and you can also not block supers. So keep that in mind. Also, you can't block like air. There's some anti-air grabs, for example, like Yamazaki or Zangief or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it for C groove. So next up is A groove. Next up is A groove. A groove has the same subsystem mechanics as C groove, with the exception of it has safe fall instead of tactical recovery. At half of a meter, you get access to a level 1, and you also get access to a counterattack. Really, the reason you play A groove, though, is to do custom combos. Custom combo activation looks like this. Whenever you do this, you press hard punch, hard kick at the same time. You get 19 frames of full invulnerability with 5 frames of startup. When you do that, you go into that mode, the shadows follow you around. During this mode, you don't need to charge attacks to actually get your charge specials. You can do a super at any point in time, which will immediately end your custom combo mode. You also cannot block, crucially. So make sure you're careful when you're in custom combo mode and your opponent is not being comboed at that point in time. Couple things, a couple more things about custom combo mode. Your damage scales down, so you start off at your most amount of damage per hit at the beginning, and then at 9 hits, your damage goes to 100, and after 9 hits, all your hits do 100 damage apiece until the very end of the custom, and then typically you'll end with a super. So most customs start with a low short, your fastest low. So in Bison's case, it's low short. In some cases, it might be a like a low medium kick, for example. But you start with your fastest low, and that's because there's something called the super freeze effect. If you're curious about that, read more about it in the Bucktooth document. Basically, it means that sometimes players can't block low during a super freeze flash or super freeze. So you start with your fastest low, then you're going to do a series of hard attacks because your damage isn't very scaled yet, and then in the middle end of the combo, you're going to be doing as many hits as possible, and you're going to end with a super. Like that. So Bison's custom is a juggle style, so which means he has to land a knockdown first, and then once you land that knockdown, you can keep doing whatever you want while they're in the air. Every hit will juggle. It's not like there's juggle restrictions like in like for the rest of the game. So the other kind of custom that's pretty standard is the grounded style, and because Ken has a forward moving roundhouse, he can just do forward roundhouse over and over again. And at the end, you'll typically hit somebody with a Shinryuken, something like that. So that would what the end of the custom looks like. Because his forward moving move is a roundhouse, he already gets the beneficial of the hard hitting buttons up front. So I think that's pretty much it for A groove. So next up is P groove. P groove has 3 subsystem mechanics: low jump, tactical recovery, and dash. It has one level 3 super that builds. It's a pretty long meter, and it has no damage bonuses. So overall, P groove is pretty simple. The main feature of it, of course, is the parry function. Parrying is done by tapping forward when your attack is incoming, like that. That's what it looks like. When you tap forward, you get a 10-frame window of leniency for when the attack is incoming. For highs and mids, you press forward, and then for lows, you press down. Show you what a low parry looks like. Like that. That's what a low parry looks like. When you do any kind of parry, what you really want to do is in your hardest combo, like that. And that will build you a bunch of meter in addition to doing a bunch of damage, which is, you have to make parries a big source of damage if you're going to play this groove successfully. It's quite difficult to get a lot of parries into a lot of damage. So characters that have hard-hitting bread and butter combos like Kyo are really good in P groove. Other thing about P groove is sometimes it can do, if you do one parry, you'll actually get all 3 in this case. So Toto's one of these guys who does, I might screw this up a couple times, but you'll get the rapid fire parry kind of thing. And that's generally just because so you don't have to mash forward a bunch. And you might still be able to get a punish. I don't know if you can get a punish for Toto. Other thing about P groove is that when you parry an attack with a charge character, if you have the charge, you can actually press forward to get the parry, and then press your attack to get the charge move. You can also do it for charge supers too. So there is some applications for like Blanca being in P groove to like you charge up something and then you parry something and then just super them right off the bat. So it opens up some opportunities for characters that have a more difficult time landing supers. Generally speaking, it's one of the weaker grooves. One of the issues is the long super meter, and the other major issue it has is the shortest guard bar. So it's easy to guard crush with like a groove or any type of rush down groove, and you're not parrying effectively. It can be really punishing. So give it a shot if you want to have fun. I know it's a really fun groove, but it does have its weaknesses, so just be aware of those. So next up is S groove. S groove is pretty complicated and also pretty bad. It's generally considered to be the worst groove in the game. first things first, the way it builds meter is different from most of the other grooves. The only way you can build meter is by getting hit or by blocking attacks. So as you can see, my character Terry is not building any meter, but Athena is. The subsystem mechanics in this game are short jump, tactical recovery, run, and counterattack. You can get counterattack by having full meter. So the only other way to, speaking of meter again, the only other way to charge it is by charging ki. So if you hold your hard punch and hard kick, you will charge ki or build your meter, and then you get into max mode. So max mode, as I mentioned already, gives you a counterattack plus a level 1 super, and you also get a 15% damage bonus during this period of time. It lasts a little over 16.5 seconds. And then that's it. Then you don't get max mode again until you have time to like charge again. The only other way to get supers in this groove is to go to red life. When you're in red life, your life bar starts flashing, like it is there for my character, and that means you have level 1 supers at your free will. You can do them as many as you want. If you charge up during red life mode, you actually get access to a level 3 and go from there. So the red life mode also gives you a 5% damage bonus. Typically what you're looking for in this groove, because of the red life mode and how the meter works, you're looking for characters that can really abuse their level 1 supers. The kind of the bright spot of this groove is a mechanic called dodge. Dodge looks like this. It's done by pressing the light attacks at the same time. Whenever you press dodge, there's a 13 or 18 frame window, after which there's a 13 frame window in which you can push a button on either punch or kick side, and you'll get 1 or 2 attacks. And then at the end, there's another 4 frames of uncancelable stuff. So that 13 frame window is when you're going to be able to cancel into one of those dodge attacks. One will always knock down, depending on the character, and one will cancel. So it just depends on your character. You have Terry. In Terry's case, his kick dodge attack in that 13 frame cancelable window after the initial 18 frames knocks down, and his punch attack will cancel into whatever you want, supers or specials. You can do whatever you want if you get a dodge attack into your thing. So it's really good. It's a 35 frame kind of juke. It actually is really tricky to fight in footsies. The main problem with S-Groove is just a meter. Metered combos in this game deal massive amounts of damage depending on the groove, but it's so crippling to S-Groove to not have good access to meter that's kind of what makes it worse, even though dodge is kind of like a pretty good mechanic. Dodge is also throwable at any time, but oftentimes you'll see S-Groove players kind of doing it in neutral, trying to bait you into pressing a button, then hitting you with a knockdown, and then going from there. So that's S-Groove. It's definitely the worst groove in the game, so be aware if you're going to play it. Yeah. So next up is N-Groove. N-Groove is one of the stronger grooves as well. Kind of generally tiered slightly below C, A, and K grooves, but it's still very good. Couple things about it. First of all, it has the most number of subsystem mechanics. It's got low jump, it's got roll, it's got run, it's got safe fall, and it's got counterattack. So it's got those 5, which are all the 3. It's got all 3 standalones plus 2 of the sister mechanics. So it's very good in that respect. It has a three-tier meter system. So once you get up to those, every time you build one of the full yellow lines of meter, you'll get one of those red pips, and then you do it again and again. Whenever you can use those pips for 4 different things. You can either use it for a level 1 super, which you can do at any point in time. So because you have free access to level 1 supers, a lot of characters that have good level 1 supers are favorable in N-Groove. You can use it for counter attack, which is standard for other grooves, but you also have another ability called counter roll, which works like this. When you block an attack, just like counter attack, you press forward plus the roll buttons. Once you do that, you get a roll animation if you press forward. If you press back, you actually get a backdash animation. Oops. Let me show you what that looks like. And there's a bunch of applications for this. Generally speaking, what you want to do is use it on laggy moves, like laggy normals, laggy specials, whatever it is. And you can punish a lot of that stuff. So super fireballs are a great way of doing it. Active A groove is another thing it's very good against. Generally, you're going to want to go forward though because you get the frame data of the roll, so you get all that invulnerability. Backdash, you don't get any invulnerability. It's just the regular backdash frame data. So just be aware of that. I'm going to link a video on a bunch of different ways to use this skill. And so check that out in the video description. It is very good. So I also mentioned there's you can do counterattack level ones and counter movement, but the other thing you can do with Ngroove is you can break a stock. What this does is it sets that timer there. That timer is 15 seconds long. You get a 20% damage buff, and you also get access to level 3 supers. Oh, jeez. There we go. And you can do that, the level 3, as long as you have another stock in play. So it takes one stock to break and then one stock to do the level 3. Typically, this groove favors rushdown style characters like Iori. Iori's got a bunch of rushdown options because you go in and you land your 3,000 damage combo. You can do run into roll. Roll can give you a cross up. Like that's pretty hard to see in some cases. You also have your command grab. So you rush them down to the end of the earth. You get knockdown after knockdown after knockdown. You get all this up-tempo pace, and then if you are in a position where you have like full meter, you can just pop a stock for a 20% damage buff and go at him. And if you do hit him with something, then you can just do a level 3. So it works really well as an aggressive groove, but also it has a lot of elements that allow you to counterplay and outplay your opponents. So End groove is really cool. It's pretty technical. It can be hard to execute sometimes, but overall, it's definitely one of the better grooves in my opinion. I think most people rate it just below the C, A, and K grooves of the world. But very good if you like that kind of stuff. Definitely check out End groove. Good characters in End groove include like Iori, Akuma, characters that don't necessarily need to do a level 3 super to do a lot of damage. There's also a bunch of pop tricks you can do. Akuma notably has like pop Raging Demon. So yeah. Check out End groove if you like rushing down and being fancy, being aggressive. So last up is K groove. K groove is simple, but it's one of the best grooves in the game. It has the subsystem mechanics of run, low jump, and safe fall. It only builds meter by getting hit or just defending. When you have meter that before you're raged, that meter will transfer over to the next round if your character is still alive. If you lose the round, it doesn't transfer to your next character, so just be aware of that. One of the things you can do, if your opponent is about to win the round and they have meter that's almost full like this, you can actually taunt them with hold light kick and then press start for Dreamcast versions, and then you press start on the arcade versions, and that'll pop their rage meter, and then that won't carry on to the next round. So just a quick little anti-K groove strategy. The other way to build meter I mentioned was just defending. So in just defending, you basically what you do is you press back at the moment an attack is about to hit you, back or down back, and it does a bunch of different things. First of all, it reduces pushback to 0. It builds you some amount of meter. It also gains you a small amount of life. It can be done 1 frame earlier than actually blocking if you're recovering from a move. So always try to just defend if you're in the middle of something and you're trying to block afterwards. And then finally, it's frame positive. Usually, what that means is that on laggy or attacks with lots of active or recovery frames, you can go from sometimes unpunishable to punishable moves. So pay attention to that. There's a formula in the Bucktooth Game Fact document that has rough math on how that works. But also you can just go into training mode and test the move you're trying to just defend in order to see if it's punishable or not. As you'll notice, Rock got me all the way up to my full amount of rage mode by hitting me with fireballs. And when you're in rage mode, it lasts 18 seconds. And during that time, you have a 15% incoming damage reduction. And then you also get a bunch of damage bonuses. So your throws and normals get a 35% damage bonus. Specials get a a 30% damage bonus, and supers get a 10% damage bonus. So what makes this groove really good is that you get so many level 3s. You can get, most of the time, characters can get easily level 2. And that's how much like a level 3 can do, and that's his level 3 special super. So a lot of the times characters have a bunch of supers that are only level 3 available. You can't use them at level 1 or level 2. So characters that utilize the ability to have lots of level 3s can land level 3s early, and then also characters that can take a lot of hits. So characters with high HP are all good in K Groove. So that's it, and thanks for watching.